Hey guys, Carolyn Williams here with 8 News Now's digital team. This week we are talking to our on-air talent about some really specific things. And this week the theme is jobs. I'm here with our friend Chief Meteorologist Tedd Florendo. Thanks for joining us.
Hi guys, happy to be here.
So meteorology is a really cool topic, but did
Yes.
you start off wanting to dabble in this field?
I did not, and I think that's what kind of happens is you really never know what you really want until you start getting further in your education and everything else. This was not even on my radar, no pun intended, to even do, right?
You should be a comedian.
Yeah, right. I actually should. That should be my other side job. No, in fact, it's just kind of funny how it all started. I didn't want to. I didn't know if I did want to be a weatherman. I didn't even know if I wanted to be a TV reporter or a news anchor. But I did as a child with my dad. We would watch news religiously, together. That's what he and I shared. We bonded at, and we would watch news all the time as a little kid. And I remember at I think I was 8 years old. I told my dad, I turned to my dad and I said, Dad, how come there aren't any Asian men on TV? Asian men doing the news? And he said, you know what, Ted? He goes, maybe they don't want us. He goes, but maybe you can change that someday. And so I just thought about that and went, wow, can I really make that change? Is that possible? But that was something was on my mind, and then I kind of decided to do other stuff and wanted to become an architect, wanted to become other things.
Yeah.
But I was trying to get into medical school in college, and it just didn't work out for me. And then that's when it kind of dawned on me. I remember making that promise to my dad. So then I just tried to do everything I could to jump into to TV news, and that was my calling. So.
And I have to ask, you're trying to get into medical school. What did you want to do initially when you thought about that?
I wanted to do a pediatric surgeon, be a pediatric surgeon.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to help in any way I could. But what you'll find out, and a lot of people find out in life, is you want to do something, but life throws you curveballs, know?
It does.
Life, you think you're going to get that hit, the strike zone, and you miss the strike, or you get a curveball. And then you just have to pivot and find a different way. And I was, the funny thing is I was pretty down in the dumps because that's kind of what I wanted to do, right?
Yep.
But then my dad kicked open my door when I was like depressed for like a week, right? So my dad kicks open my door and he goes, get your butt up. And I said, why? And he goes, because you weren't meant to be a doctor. And I go, okay. And he goes, you were meant for something bigger. You were meant for something greater. And I go, well, what is that? And he goes, I don't know what that is. But that's for you to find out. You're meant to change the world. And you're going to do it by not giving up. So get your butt up. You can cry all you want. You can depress all you want. But you can promise me you'll never give up. Right?
Yep.
So I said, wow, that's a good pep talk. So that's when I got up and I said, what can I do next? And that's when I decided to make that promise that I made to him and everybody else when I was younger, and going into broadcasting.
And, pediatric surgeons, they save lives. They save lives, but meteorologists save lives too.
Yeah.
So you're doing something, it's definitely not in the same field, but you are an important part of this community. And you guys watch Ted almost every night. He brings you the latest on all the weather, whether it's a really hot day, which these dangerous, brutal heat waves we've had lately, or the monsoon season with potentially life-threatening flooding.
Yeah.
So we're going to go take a look here. All right, guys, we're here on Ted's Twitter.
Yes. And I put out a lot of tweets. I apologize.
No, that's great.
I just want to make sure everybody's safe.
So guys, take a look here. This is Ted's Twitter, and along with tweeting all of our news, he's also tweeting important information that people need to know.
Yeah. And I like to do that. Like yesterday I stayed in, I didn't take a dinner break. I stayed in the whole time and sat by the radar and just put out numerous tweets. I apologize if there was a lot, everyone, but I just want to make sure everybody's safe.
No apologies needed.
And that's, you nailed it on the dot. I know if I couldn't be that surgeon, but what else can I do? I started out as a TV reporter, believe it or not, first. And I tell people that everybody in the newsroom, from producers to you guys on digital to everybody else, works hard because we have a very important job. I remember as a TV reporter, I had a senior citizen, wonderful lady, go, "Ted, can you help me out?" And this is when I was a reporter. She said, "My mailbox, her community mailbox, was ripped out and stolen." Like,
oh my gosh.
And nobody was fixing it at all, or was on top of it. She said she's been waiting for like a week. She goes, "Can you help us out at all and help me out in any way?" So I made a call to the USPS, and let them know, like, this is a story. It really is. And if we don't get on top of it, it's definitely a story that we got to do, because it's our job to help people and get the word out to help those people that can't get the help. Yeah. And sure enough, she got her mailbox literally the next day.
That's great.
So if we as reporters didn't make that effort for you guys and you submitting stories to us, who knows when she would have got that mailbox. Yeah. So we have very important jobs as reporters. I have a very important job as a meteorologist, because while storms are out there, you really need to get the heads up on these are deadly storms. So we have very important jobs to let everybody know what's going on.
And in the meteorology field, you can come up against some really hard challenges.
Yes.
Like Mother Nature does not,
yes.
She will not do what you think she does all the time. She'll change at the very last second. What are some of the challenges that you face every day?
Well, that's the thing you run into is you can kind of forecast that we're going to get some thunderstorms that day, but pinpointing exactly where they're going to pop up at is really difficult.
Yeah.
Which is why
it's like Battleship almost.
It really is.
H3 over in Mesquite.
You sunk my battleship. That's absolutely right. That's the tough part is trying to figure out where these thunderstorms are going to fire up. And that's where experience kind of comes up. Like one storm will pop up and then you'll go, okay, send a gust of wind over to Las Vegas while we're feeling it. Well, those gusts of winds are outflows, and that could actually start up new ones. So when you start to see one start to get a little bigger, like in, let's say, for example, Nellis, you're like, okay, that one's going to get bigger. So these are things where you just have to sit by the radar, and experience is necessary. And, I've over a decade experience, to almost 2 decades experience of meteorology. So that's where that plays and helps you out,
And some meteorologists, they have specific weather types that they focus on, like severe, hurricane, winter. What is your favorite type of weather to cover?
Well, I think my favorite, honestly, are hurricanes. When I took my meteorology courses, I was really, really into hurricanes. Unfortunately, I'm more of an expert at covering snow, because I've been in so many snow locations.
Yeah.
Like I covered snow in Green Bay, I covered snow in Philly, I covered snow in Yakima, Washington, Eastern Washington, and we don't get much snow here. But when we do have those snow days here, I'm on top of it because I have such experience on it, right? Yep. But hurricanes are they're the funnest to cover, but they're also the scariest too, Carolyn, because with a tornado, and I've done tornado chasing too. It hits and it's out of here.
Yep.
But your hurricane can last all day, which is why sometimes the roofs can't take it, because the winds have just been going all day. The roof just says, I can't hang on anymore, and then it's gone.
Yep.
So those are the funnest. I know so much about hurricanes, so when they have you mention hurricanes here, I'm like, absolutely. I'll do a whole thing on Storm Surge, whatever you want.
Yeah.
So those are fun, but thunderstorms are always fun for me, as long as we're safe, because flash flooding, of course, is dangerous and deadly. So.
And going back to your dad's pep talk when you were younger, you go to schools and you speak to students about career futures, your fields. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's funny because what everyone needs to realize is my dad was very wise, and he gave me some really good pep talks. I remember when I graduated with my degree, broadcast journalism degree, I said, okay, now I'm ready to take on the world and become that first Asian, one of the very few Asian males doing news in general. I'm really the only one doing weather, Yep. I mean, I was the only one in Philadelphia. I was the only one in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm the only one here, So I'm still trying to make that mark for others. But what I ran into was I was sending out so many resumes and so many, what we make videotapes of ourselves back then, and to all these news directors. And my friends were all getting hired, but I wasn't getting hired. And I was like, man, maybe they're not ready for an Asian, news anchor or Asian meteorologist. And my dad goes, here's the deal. He goes, I want you to send 1,000 more. And he goes, remember, he goes, you're going to lose, you're going to fail, you're going to cry your eyes out, you're going to be depressed, but that's okay, because you can always fail, you're always going to lose, you're always going to get rejected, but you will never, ever give up. Promise me, no matter what happens, you'll never give up. I do this when I go speak at schools. I give the same speech and I still get choked up.
Oh, I mean, it's a great advice.
Right.
And look at you now. You are someone who people depend on every day here in
Thank
Vegas.
you.
You have made strides.
I knew what he told me was, you could send out 1,000 tapes, 1,000 resumes. And he goes, all you need, is just one. I just need one person to say yes. I don't care if it's 1,000. And that one person was Mike Balmilli in Yakima. Gave me a chance to work for him for free for I think it was like a month, 2 months. I just worked my butt off for free. I went in early, right, in the morning, and then I left. I would leave late, editing my own stuff, shooting my own stuff. And then I thought to myself, I said, is Mike watching? Is he actually watching me coming in or not? And I went, you know what? It doesn't matter if he's watching or not. Knowing that I'm coming in early and leaving late, that's what matters. And the universe is going to work itself out. So I would do that all the time. And I just remember in June, he goes, you know what? I see you've been working hard. I want to hire you. He goes, I saw you come in early. Man.
This is great.
This is way back in 99. I still get choked up.
Yeah.
And he goes, I see you early and I see you leaving late. I want to give you a job. So here I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So great. And you are awesome, and you have a video that you like to show when you go to these schools.
Yeah, I go to these schools and because I let these kids know, I come from three brothers. There's three of us, and both of my older brothers were straight A students, like to the T. I'll be honest, I was never the straight A student. I was more the C student. I kind of kidded around a lot, right? But one thing they always said was that you were always, when you wanted something, you never gave up. You just went after it, and you didn't even hesitate. You just went. And that's what I try to get to these kids is, yeah, you're going to fail, you're going to lose, but that doesn't mean anything, So my brothers would go, yeah, I want to do this, but there's 3 things that could go wrong with it. And I'd go, yeah, but there's 3 things that could go right. Because it gets tough. So, yeah, I still go speak these schools, and I still get the waterworks a little, get choked up. So that was always my thinking, and because of it, I'm here today, and I try to get that to the kids. But I just want to show you this video because I show this at the schools because this kind of lets you know about life will throw you curveballs, and that's okay. You just got to roll with the curveballs and just keep going. So this has come from Facing the Giants. And it's called Never Give Up, Don't Quit.
Kids these days, sometimes it's hard to get a job out of college, and it feels really easy to give up. But if people remember things like that clip just showed us, things like your dad told us, they can achieve incredibly amazing things like you have.
It's so easy to give up, and I could have given up too. But like my dad said, you sent out 300 resumes and you all got rejections. But that means you send out 300 more, and you send out another 300 more. There's a couple things that I did that I think worked in everybody's favor. In the news business was I got an agent to get me to another market, and he did the best he could to get me to bigger markets from here. But I said, you know what? I'm going to take the initiative. I know I pay him, but why don't I take the initiative? So I would email the news directors or the bosses that you need to myself. And I found out that the news director in Philadelphia was like, oh, I got your tape before, but now that you message me, now, because with your other agents, I'm getting numerous videos. But since you messaged me, I'm going to really look at yours. And he goes, you know what? I want to hire you. If I did not do that, I would have been put in the mix with everybody else. So that's one thing you have to do is you have to take the initiative and do that sometimes, even if you hired somebody to do it for you. There's no harm in that, and it's not going to hurt you any doing that. So.
Yeah. Well, Ted, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Really appreciate it. Guys, we will have several other stories like that. We also have Chris Matthews and Nate Tannenbaum, so you don't want to miss their installations of this as well. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys later.
Take care, guys.